World Economic Forum is an NGO that engages the foremost political, business and cultural leaders of society to shape global, regional and industry agendas. Now they believe that by bringing people of drive and influence together, it is possible to make a positive change. We're looking at how the World Economic Forum is measuring countries' ability to compete. World Economic Forum have made this Global Competitiveness Index, and the index is made up by 12 pillars, but these 12 pillars are divided into 4 main pillars as well. And as we can see, these 4 main pillars are very closely linked to, of course, Porter's diamond, which also is made to measure a country's competitiveness. Now we'll dive into these 12 pillars to understand them better. Now we can also see that the best performing country in the world right now of 2019 is Singapore. Overall, it got a score of 85. And all the other scores are, of course, indexes. As you can see, some of them, Singapore has 100. It means it is doing the best possible compared to all other countries in the world. Now, the first pillar, institutions, is made up by security, social capital. Then there's checks and balances, public sector performance, transparency, property rights, corporate governance, and the future orientation of government. And below each of these, World Economic Forum has again divided into subcategories where they will measure how well a country does compared to other countries in the world. And this is basically how it measures how a country compares to other countries. It's very important for a country to look at these numbers and then be able to see where the next step should be to create a better environment for companies in the country and thereby create better competitiveness overall for the country. The second pillar here, it's transport and infrastructure and utility infrastructure. Again, divided into subcategories. We've got the third pillar, ICT adoption. Fourth, macroeconomic stability. Here, inflation and debt dynamics are important. Then we've got health as the fifth pillar. The sixth pillar, skills. So how many years of school does the workforce have? Skills of the current workforce, and so on. They're also looking at the product market, so domestic competition and trade openness. They're also looking at the labor market. How flexible is the labor market? And they're looking at meritocracy and incentivization. The ninth pillar is the financial system, depth and stability, and the subcategory is here again. The 10th, we're looking at market size. The 11th pillar here is business dynamism, and we're looking at administrative requirements and entrepreneurial culture. And at last, the 12th pillar, innovation capability. So here we're looking at interaction and diversity, research and development, and commercialization. So looking at Vietnam in the 67th place, you can see the performance overview and how the score is on different pillars. Now what government should look at is saying which of these pillars would be the least costly to change, and then start by that. So you can change your competitiveness by looking at where you're performing not so good, and also taking into account how much does it cost to actually move this score And this is what countries should do when thinking about changing the environment to make it more attractive and make it more competitive environment overall.